Morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, Jamie.
First and foremost, how have the last couple of weeks kind of been for you since we talked at the press conference? Been kind of a whirlwind trying to get everything together.
It's exactly what it is. Sometimes I feel like I'm running in quicksand. Got a list of things and you just keep coming up and just keep pushing through, but building a staff, try to finish it out in recruiting and finding the right guys that work for our place and obviously getting some bowl preparation in and getting some good young guy work out on the field. So there's been a lot of different things. Just excited to get back out there and getting back to football this morning.
Can you speak a little bit about Coach Ward and Coach Morris, the two new coordinators, and kind of what they bring to the table and what kind of sold them to you?
Well, Coach Ward, I've known for a long time, back to our days together at North Dakota State. And, that's kind of the fashion that we were both formed out of, So Craig Bulls has a big influence on our lives and the way we coach and the way we teach. But he's a great mentor. He's a great man. He's a great developer of people. And his X's and O's acumen is really, really smart. And I know when I was going to be able to get this position, there was really one guy that I was going to call, and it was Brian Ward. And just excited to bring him into our program and really build off of, kind of what we started here the last couple of years. And that isn't something to just come in here and do it the same. That was the biggest thing we had in the conversations, through his different travels and the different travels of our staff that's coming in. Let's keep building onto our foundation of what we're doing, so he knows the language, he knows the terms, he's getting to know our guys. And I think it's just the exact fit for what I was looking for to lead our defense well into the future. And, Coach Morris, as we went through this process, and it was a long process, and, obviously he was coaching his team, but first and foremost, I think it's really important to get another head coach in here. And what Coach did with the UIW program and really building that thing from scratch. And I don't know all the stats or the wins that they had before he got there. And then they ended up taking the number one team in the country down to a 4th and goal and ended up being short by 3 inches, so his building of a team, his experience level, his energy, and obviously what I think he can bring to the next evolution of Washington State football and our offense. I just think he's one of the bright offensive minds in football today. And I think our offense is going to be able to show that. He's going to be able to adapt and use our pieces, because like I've always said, players over plays, so what can we do going forward to maximize our abilities? And I just think he has that energy and that fire and that belief that I was really looking for.
And will they just be the coordinators? Will they be coaching a specific position as well?
Yeah, Brian Ward will be coaching the linebackers. So he'll move right into that room. And I think that's the exact position that you need to be to coordinate a defense, because you're involved at every level. And then Coach Morris will be coaching the quarterbacks.
All right. If you have a question for Coach Dickert, please raise your hand. We'll call on you. Next question comes from Colton Clark of the Spokesman Review. Go ahead, Colton.
Morning, Coach. How's it going?
Good morning, Colton.
I'm wondering how different schematically is Morris's air raid from the run and shoot? How much tweaking will you have to do there?
Well, I think let's start in the first deal. It's not air raid. And I know it's amazing. It's going to be more like Coug raid. We're going to do it our own way. And we are going to use H-backs. We're going to use some flex guys that can kick out and move and spread out and do some different things. But I always say, like, my background is the Tampa 2. I'm Monty Kiffin. I'm a Tampa 2 disciple, yet we don't run a lot of Tampa 2. Okay. There's only one person in this world still continuing to do the true air raid. So it's going to be our version of it, being multiple, using motions, using our edge receivers in multiple different ways, using our H-backs and running backs and using the RPO game. And I just think it's going to be very multiple. And that was something that we were really looking for throughout this process. So air raid pass principles, but way more our own version of exactly what we want to be.
And kind of on that, you talked about how the offense will center on Jaden, but it seems like this system, apparently runs it 25 to 30 times per game. How important was it to you to keep that identity in the offense?
Just saying running the ball?
Yeah.
I mean, I think running the ball is at the heart of everything an offense needs to be about, because I think it establishes the pass game and establishes a mentality of toughness and physicality, and then it gets them working down. And I think that's what we were able to accomplish even the last 5 games of the season. the more we ran it, the more opportunities there were for big explosive plays down the field. So there'll be a play action pass game. There'll be a boot game. There'll be just more variety that I think can really fit Jaden's game and where he can take his game to the next level. Because I know he's got high aspirations, and I know Coach Morris has coached a lot of guys that are still playing in the league today. So I just think this offense can really fit his skill set, but also be very multiple in how we attack people. If we need to throw it for 350 to win, good. We can do it. If we need to run it for 350 because we're getting light box, I think we can do it. So I think it gives us an ability to be very well-rounded and just keep attacking defenses. And I have the belief that we're going to keep our explosive offense here on the Palouse.
And you talked about being a true head coach. Obviously, you're no complete stranger to offense, but I guess how long do you suppose it'll take for your level of offensive knowledge to kind of catch up to your defensive knowledge?
It's a good question. I mean, I believe in lifelong learning, and I'm excited to sit in those rooms and just learn and digest, but also give my input on the other side of it and how they see it and how I can use that information to help them. But at the end of the day, it'll be a little bit of a learning experience on the offensive side of the ball, but it's about what they do. It's about technique. It's about fundamentals. That's the stuff I'm really going to pour into our guys on a daily basis. And, leave some of the bigger scheme pictures to the coaches. But it's the little daily pieces that I'm looking forward to picking up on and really just using, my energy and passion and helping those guys out in the field.
All right, next question from Brenna Green of Prem TV. Go ahead, Brenna.
Hi, Coach Dickert. First of all, you've talked about the new guys, the new staff members that you have. Do you have those guys coaching with you right now? Do you still have some guys from the previous regime who are still around coaching? Just how do you kind of manage that?
Well, I think the biggest thing is we're going to finish 2021. I'm still going to call the bowl game. I'm still going to be leading the defense. I'm still going to be the guy that's out in front, just like we were 3 weeks ago. And the other new coaches are observing right now and building personal relationships with our players. A couple of them are out on the road recruiting. So it's that blend, and we're going to be extremely professional as we go through this last phase of it. But we're going to finish 2021 the way we need to for our seniors and our program. And we're going down there to really compete in the bowl game. So that's our focus right now, Brenna.
Is Brian Smith going to be with you guys for the bowl game?
Yes, that's the anticipation. Yes.
And just in terms of that bowl game, do you know of anybody who's, played for you guys this season that won't be with you for the bowl game right now?
No, I mean, right now we're just in conversations. We're out there, we're getting ready to finish some finals. We're getting back out in the field, getting some good young guy work. So, those conversations will continue to happen as we go through our bowl prep.
And do you have like a date where you're like, okay, I need to know whether guys are in or out by now, or like what is kind of your process with that?
No, I mean, right now, like I said, we're focused on just getting some good work right now. We really haven't even started our Miami prep just yet. So there's no final date. I mean, every conversation is individual and unique, and I respect those guys and what we want to accomplish and what we want to do together. And, my biggest message is let's finish finals, so those are the things that are on the forefront of our decision-making right now.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question comes from Jamie Vinnick, Coug fan. Go ahead, Jamie.
Hey, Coach, just another couple for you. Just to confirm what you just said. So Coach Morris and Coach Ward, they won't coach in the bowl game. They'll just kind of observe.
They'll be observing, yes.
And we heard Coach Morris kind of talk about, he was on, I think, a San Antonio radio show, and he mentioned the use of tight ends. Does that kind of fit in with the H-back philosophy you were talking about?
Correct. They're going to be very multiple. I mean, you won't see a lot of guys just anchored down and 12 person. It's going to be guys that can do a variety of different things, from kicking out defensive ends to doing bubble screens to stretching the field, a very just multi-tooled position, so we'll come up with some fancy name for it as we keep going, but just excited for those guys to be multiple pieces of the package. And it isn't just something where we'll be in 11 personnel all the time either. We'll very much be 50-50, 10, 11, some short yardage goal line stuff, maybe sneak in some 12 as needed, so we're just going to give our offense just being able to be more multiple. And I think it can help us, as we get into those red zone situations, short yardage situations, and just get guys that have multiple talents and being able to do a lot of different things with them.
Be honest, did Coach Walden pressure you into this?
No. That was, but I appreciate his honesty and just his ability just to kind of go after it.
And then just, do you have like an idea of how close you are to kind of finalizing this coaching staff, or is it kind of still just a work in progress?
It'll be a work in progress. And I said that when I got hired, I want to have an extreme vetting process to make sure we're doing it right and we're doing it for the long term. And I think that's the right way by our guys, by our program. And that's what I told them that I'm going to do. And I'm going to bring the right people in here that fit Washington State, fit their skill levels and fit their needs and have the right energy and passion for coaching this game. So there's no timetable on it. We're in a lot of conversations we got to work through and get probably through signing day first. Then we'll have a little bit of time to make sure we're nailing that down before we get into the new year.
And then last thing, just, you mentioned in your press conference, you talked about, the offense is going to be centered around Jaden and everything he can do. And just kind of curious, what have some of these conversations been like early on with him, with bringing in Coach Morris, and kind of what's his response been to, a bit of a shift in the offense?
I think he's excited, because I think, he knows for him to make it to the next level, there's an evolution that can happen in his game and that he's very capable of. And Jaden loves playing football, and he loves competing, so to get to learn something new and to keep growing and to do, a little bit more NFL style offense, I think is going to help him in his future. So I think he's excited and he's really going to feed off Coach Morris's energy, his passion. And I just think there's going to be a special relationship between those two.